Hello there, people of the internet. We are back again with a brand new Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition video, and the floodgates have opened, people. We have gotten a ton of new footage as of, I believe it was Wednesday, when this huge press day happened for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Pretty much all the big major Nintendo press outlets had a chance to lift a bit of their embargo to talk about the game. So we got to see footage from various points of the game. I think the latest I've seen is Aerith C, but there might be footage from a little later in the game out there. In any case, I've been looking at various screenshots and different gameplay footages of all these different outlets and listening to everyone talk about their experiences with the game. So I just hope to maybe gather all my findings here, anything new, anything we haven't discussed yet, and just dump it into a video. We're at the home stretch, people. We are less than 2 weeks away from Xenoblade Definitive Edition coming out, and my hype levels are at the max. And I don't know what it is. It took until I saw Satoru Marsh gameplay live and in front of me before it really sunk in. Okay, this is a real game. Like, I got super hardcore nostalgia just viewing all of that and hearing the music for the first time too, the re-recorded Satoru Marsh soundtrack. It's something of beauty. I'm not ready for Xenoblade Definitive when it comes out. In any case, let's dive into the new info that's come forward, and we'll start off with just a little forewarning, a little bit of a warning to anyone who was thinking about it. You know, if you've never played Xenoblade before, should I start with Future Connected or the main game first? I wouldn't play Future Connected first because it starts off with major story spoilers of the very end of the game, based on, you know, the first few minutes that have been shown off by a few people on the internet. It literally replays cutscenes that happened at the very end of Xenoblade Chronicles. So if you want to go in with a fresh perspective and you have never played Xenoblade before, I would avoid playing Future Connected first. Maybe if you just want to re-familiarize yourself with the story of Xenoblade, I would wait, I would hold off, and maybe just play through the full game and then dive into Future Connected after. I think that's honestly what I'm going to do too. I want to play through Xenoblade fully again, and then maybe dive into Future Connected after I do that. Maybe just refamiliarize myself with the game and the mechanics and everything. That way I can get thrown into Future Connected with a super fresh perspective on everything that's happening in the game. On top of this, we were introduced to 2 new characters in Future Connected. We don't have their names yet, aside from, you know, the Japanese kanji from one of them. But the 2 that we've seen are this new High Entia character, who he gives me heavy Chancellor Palpatine vibes, like super heavy Chancellor Palpatine vibes. Maybe he's a good guy, I don't know. He seems a little sketchy to me. And then the other character is a brand new Mechon character. Not sure what he's doing or who his name is, but I'm interested to see how he plays in the Future Connected, because we haven't seen the people of Mechonis, I should say. We haven't seen them represented in Future Connected at all. So this is a whole new story dynamic in play. I wonder how they're going to fit in with, you know, Shulk trying to rebuild Alchemoth and finding all of the High Entia, because they're a completely different race, has very little to do with the plot we've seen so far in Future Connected. Color me intrigued. On top of that too, we have confirmation that Nene and Kino are in fact Ricky's kids, which is awesome. Apparently as well, Nene and Kino act like Ryan and Charla respectively in combat, based on a few lines of dialogue we've heard from Shulk, which would make sense. From what it seems, Nene has some of Ryan's abilities. I hear her in combat using the term like hammer beat, and it would make sense that Kino has Charla's, since he has his like little ethereal gun. It's an interesting new approach, though at the same time, maybe they're just gonna mix together the movesets of, like, you know, Ricky and Dunban as well, because it would seem weird to just have those 2 characters as new characters in the epilogue with the same exact movesets as the old characters. I don't know, it's a little odd to me. On top of this, it has been confirmed from Rogers Base, when he had talked to a Nintendo of America representative, that Jenna Coleman is reprising her role as Melia. That is super important, and it clears up a lot of the confusion that people have had, because she sounds very much so different. I've heard a few lines, and going deeper into it, it definitely does sound like her. On top of that too, the same Nintendo rep, he claimed that they fixed the lip syncing. Though I haven't seen that fully, but I'm excited to see what he means. Maybe he just means like they fixed it in the general game so it's not as crazy, or they just fixed the mouths of the characters in general. Because from what it seems to me, it's not necessarily fully fixed. They still kind of sync to the Japanese dub, which is obvious by how many syllables they're spouting out of their mouth compared to what they say in English. Maybe that's what he meant, though. I don't know, maybe they fixed it since the Unveil trailer. I can't tell. I'd have to play the game when it comes out. On top of this as well, we learned the official name of the No Pawn Task Force in Future Connected. They are called the Pawn Specters, and the Pawn Specters are apparently color-coded based on the roles that they have. It actually very much so reminds me of Pikmin. So apparently the Pawn Specters are color-coded based on the roles that they play, and the blue Pawn Specters will heal, the yellow Pawn Specters will do debuffs to enemies, and the red Pawn Specters will do damage. Now, as I had assumed, they also replace chain attacks, and you kind of need a certain amount of them before you can do the special move when your arts gauge fills up. So you'd have to wait until you help enough of them out in the field and do enough quests for them in order to have a sizable amount of them follow you in order to use essentially what is the chain attack in the epilogue here. Gem crafting has also been removed in Future Connected, and armor sets seem to be fairly limited. So instead of using gem crafting, you would just go straight to an ether deposit and you would get a pre-selected crystal from that ether deposit. That's something I'm not sure how to feel about. I think it makes sense if they're going to try to streamline Future Connected. They don't want to have to make this whole new gem crafting system and revolving around the new characters, and it would probably just make sense to just give you a very limited amount of gems and armor sets. That way it's a lot less to have to balance for them. And on top of this as well, Alex at Nintendo Life completely confirmed that characters in the epilogue start at level 60, something we just pretty much assumed at this point because it was part of the leak. Essentially everything in that leak has come into fruition. Now we're going to get into a few of these quality of life changes, and then we're going to end off the video. Here are some new quality of life changes that haven't been formally announced before, or maybe haven't been shown off, or something that I even haven't caught at the moment. So first, and this is a big one, there is an autosave feature. Oh my god. Yes, I remember. So this isn't an instance of Xenoblade, of it happening with Xenoblade. I've never had to restart with Xenoblade Chronicles, but I remember back when I was playing Skyward Sword on the Wii, back in like 2012, I think it was. My Wii just randomly bricked in the middle of when I was doing side quests, and I lost so much progress, and I was so mad. And just the idea of like something like that happening with my Switch and with Xenoblade, it would make me even more angry. Like if the power went out at my house or something, I would be livid. And having an autosave feature would definitely mitigate that. I'm so happy that Monolith Soft is getting into the modern age and is giving us a feature that that is very much so going to be appreciated by many people. Enemies will now indicate with a blue icon on them if they have a chance of dropping a specific quest reward that you need. That is a huge quality of life change. That is another thing that's going to help significantly with streamlining the quest system. We've talked about the quest system before, how they're making it so that you can set active quests and you can see on the mini-map where you have to go. It'll direct you that way with a trail, and how it'll give you like little icons on the screen to tell you, here are the locations of the items that you need for this quest. Here's where they spawn. That is so helpful. Again, something that when I play Xenoblade Definitive Edition, I don't know if I can go back to the original and, experience it the same way. On top of this as well, we get a new image of the Collectopedia. It looks really, really clean. I like it a lot. It's very sleek. I like the little picture icons in the corner, or on the spare page, I should say, that kind of just give you a general, image of the world and some of the concept art. It's really neat. I dig it a lot. And finally, something that I think a lot of people, a lot of purists out there will be happy to hear. According to the Nintendo representative that Rogers Base talked to, you can turn off all of the quality of life changes, which, that's great, giving people the choice to choose whether or not they want to have their hand held a little more or not is going to make things a lot easier. I'm wondering if it has to do with the difficulty option, though I think that would be a bit of an inconvenience, locking the quality of life changes behind a difficulty option. That's not really how difficulty should work. Making the game more tedious for people is not necessarily more difficult, it's just a little more boring. So hopefully it's just like an option in the gameplay menu. You could just choose to turn off some of these quality of life changes instead of it being tied to casual and expert mode. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I probably missed something. Very important. If I missed anything you guys caught, watching all this footage in the last couple days, please let me know in the comments. We are less than 2 weeks from Xenoblade Definitive Edition coming out. I'm just so excited. Words are escaping me right now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.